I find the report interesting and appreciate the presentation we had this morning. I obviously saw the comments that were made by Senator Boquist. I don't agree with those comments, wouldn't make those comments myself. But one thing that's lacking, and as an employer, when we have incidents where somebody says something, somebody does something as an employee, we interview that person. And as our attorney indicated, that normally does happen, didn't happen in this case because it was determined that these two statements kind of spoke for themselves. And I don't actually think the statements do speak for themselves because we have an individual who has spent many years in the military, and we don't know what his frame of mind was as it relates to what he was thinking when he was saying these statements. And I don't believe at this point that there is a threat to anybody in the Capitol. I share an office wall with Senator Boquist. So if anybody ought to be concerned, it should be me. And there are no employees, according to these statements, there are no employees that were threatened here at the Capitol. And so, and the two people who the alleged threats were made to aren't part of the report. They're not complainants as part of the report, that being President Courtney and the Oregon State Police, as the attorney indicated who made the presentation. So really what we're left with, I think, is kind of an incomplete hearing and facts of the case. And I honestly was hoping to hear more from Senator Boquist than what his statement was. But he clearly is concerned about significant issues, which he expressed in his remarks. And so at this point, I've looked over the recommendations. I can't support the wording of the recommendations as they are, but I could support something that is modified in those recommendations. But at this point, the wording of it, and some of them, to me, seems to be premature and somewhat prejudicial as it relates to it. If there is going to be a continuing investigation, then I think we need to let that work itself out. Because, as I said, I do not see Senator Boquist as a workplace threat at this time. We are in the interim, and there are very few person-to-person meetings that go on here at this time, and there's very few interactions. And as I said, I share an office wall with Senator Boquist, and all the interactions I've had with him, and we disagree on plenty. I've never felt threatened, and don't feel threatened by his statements as a member.